right, so let's start with the introduction of the research writing. Now, when I talk about research writing, I would like to know what is your understanding with the research writing? What is it for? Why people do it? Like that. Okay, let's understand from this module what you will understand. So, you'll understand what is research writing, what can be your target audience, the qualities of a research writer, different types of writing in research writing, and how you should persuade a client or how should maintain the client relationship with you when you are doing the research writing. So let's begin with the understanding of research writing. Now, it is something that you do to explain a thesis or maybe a point of view that can be debatable or non-debatable, but mostly debatable. So when you are sharing that perspective, when you are sharing your experiences with writing, with facts and figures, it can be for anything, for a journal, book, magazine, internet experts, anything. But it is used to describe something that you believe in or you have facts and figure about. So the research writing is a process of sharing the answer to the research questions with an absolute evidence on which the answer is based, the sources used, references, or we also call it bibliography, the reasoning that you have provided to support the research. That all comes under research writing. Now, why do we need a research writing or why to do a research writing? So first, when you're performing a research, of course, you will write it down somewhere. You need a reflective writing over that, reflection that what you are understanding when you're performing a research. So that is a kind of thing that you can do. Or you want to know how something works or why something happened. Maybe some historical events or maybe some behavior of the people that you want to target here. The research process does not actually finish when you have solved the mystery. Sharing it to the world is significant. So it should not be like you have just done. Now, understand this basics. The research writing generally happens in an academic background with the help of mentors and somebody who can actually give you feedback. That is why it is really important or significant to publish it as well so that people can also take advantage of it. One of the most popular effective presentations form is research paper. So now something that you believe or something that is debatable and you are giving point of view over that, that is a kind of research paper. Again, there can be two major type of research papers. That is argumentative research paper and analytical research paper. When I talk about argumentative, it is kind of persuasive research paper. So there was a debatable question and you are trying to answer that with your understanding, with your research, with your facts and figure. That is argumentative research paper. It is also called persuasive essays sometimes. And then it comes to analytical research paper. So something is happening and you are only giving the facts and figure about it. For example, any report that is given by WHO, where they are not giving any opinion or they are not showcasing any bias perspective. They are just talking about something that is happening and explaining that what are the bad things about it or maybe good things about it. See, let's suppose there is poverty in India, right? You are just sharing that how poverty happens, why it takes place, and what are the current rate of that. Okay, just talking about it, just analyzing things and giving the report over it. That is called analytical research paper. So there is no opinion, there is just information. You can also call it informative research paper. Is that clear now? The analytical one. Now let's suppose there are so many political parties around, right? And you support one. Now you are supporting that with arguments. That why do you think that this political party is better? What is the history of this political party? What they have done? And what is your opinion? You are again and again telling that why do you support it? I'm just giving you one example. This cannot be a research topic, but I'm just giving you example. So you are just telling your reasoning why you believe in it and why people should also understand that this political party is better. That is a kind of argumentative, where you give your opinions, where you give your ideas, your perspectives. Why would you do it? You will do it to showcase your unique perspective to the people who are still not aware of some of the things. Okay. Well, about analytical research paper, I had one example for you as well. So, for example, you see, the present day situation of flora and fauna on our planet is turbulent and tragic because many animals and plants belong to endangered species. So they are only talking about flora and fauna. Okay. They are giving the extinction and destruction of the habitat places. Then about the Siberian tigers. And then to summarize, just to summarize the text and from where they got the information, they have given the references as well. List of articles where you can read these things. This is an analytical writing. Now for persuasive writing, I did not find any example, to be honest, that much related, but persuasive is generally related to opinion-based writing. When you have given your opinion and you are again and again telling that it is correct or what is wrong with the process, that is argumentative. So going ahead, steps of research writing process. Now, how you can start a research? That is again a very, very big question. The question should be very clear at the starting point, that what you have to write about. So choose a topic, a wider topic, let's suppose. Plan and schedule time to research and write. So it cannot happen that the time you are researching, you can write at the same time. It will be like if you are doing, let's suppose, it is a broad topic. Okay. Let's suppose the topic is inequality in India, maybe gender inequality, let's suppose, or maybe affirmative action inequality. So you choose a topic, then you plan and schedule your time. Like for like one day, I will only put my time on research. I will do 2 to 3 hours research. And on the next day, I will start my writing, at least giving one perspective. Okay. Then again, conduct the research, organize research and ideas. When you are researching something, it means you are making an action plan for yourself. You are preparing some ideas that, okay, what should come first? What should be next? What should I say later? How should I summarize everything? So organize your ideas, draft your paper. Draft is not the one that is going to publish or that is your final report or research paper. Draft means you just started and you did some work. At least you had written an outline of all the ideas that you had. Revise and edit your paper. Once you have created a draft, this is the time where you have to revise and edit everything. If you do revise and editing, meanwhile you are writing the research paper, it will not help. And most of the times you will just miss out your previous idea and you will not be able to connect it with the further ideas. Or let's suppose opinions or explanations. Again, is this clear? So now, explaining the similar point that I explained earlier, choosing a topic. When you are choosing a topic, your free writing exercise and brainstorming work. And free writing is a part of brainstorming. So whatever idea comes to your mind, you write it down, and that's the part of brainstorming. So now you may also need to ask specific research question, a broad open-ended question that will guide your research as well as purpose for a possible answer or a working thesis. So now open-ended question can be like, what are the reason behind brain drain, as you said, Tarini? So I'm keeping that topic only. So that is a broad topic, brain drain. Now, what kind of brain drain you are talking about? That people are moving for jobs? They think there is a better life outside? You are coming to one point. So broad topic and then coming to the main idea, just like a thesis work. So you give your opinion and then you explain your opinion with facts and figures, or maybe some referral writings, or through your research, whatever you have done about that topic. You may use your research question and your working thesis to create a research proposal as well. Now, when I talk about research proposal, it is something that you have to create before starting the research, if you are aware of it, that I want to research about this, and you take the guidelines from your academic mentors and teachers, or the facilitators, and then you start the research about it. Are you aware of it? No, you don't do that. I guess in PhD it happens like that, because sometimes for a research conduction, for example, I am writing a research paper about an experiment. I would need funds for that. And that fund can only come from somebody who is the organization, or maybe an authoritative person. So I have to give them my research proposal, what I want to research about, and how much time it will take, how much money it will take, how much uh, participants it would take, and what we will do for the participants. So that is research proposal. Then planning and scheduling again. When you do this, research can take a lot of time, literally. Like I remember one of my students, she told me the research took her 11 or maybe 10 or 11 months. So again, they were doing an experimentative research. That's why it took so much time. Now, if you are only doing what do we call that? An analytical one, where you are not observing anything, you are just writing by researching content. That might take little less time as well, but again, research takes a lot of time. And creating a schedule is a good way to ensure that you do not end up being overwhelmed by all the work you have to do as the deadline approaches. So again, when you give this proposal of research writing, here you get the deadline also, that how much time you will get. So make sure every time you work for your, like, you do it in small chunks already the whole time, so that when the deadline approaches, you are not overwhelmed, or you are not feeling anxious, or any other tiring feeling, I would say. Conducting research now, about this. For conducting research, you should already have this plan in your mind, that from where you will get the data. While these days, because of technology, we can get most of our data from internet, right? Again, sometimes we also need to interview some people, or maybe some secondary sources, like some already research papers they have, uh, they are available, and you are seeing them once again. Or maybe some raw data you can find, and you can analyze that data uh, in a, what do we call, uh, you can turn that data into finishing data, basically. Or you may take interviews, you can do surveys. Many things are there when you conduct your research. So again, okay, your sources will include both primary sources and secondary sources. Primary sources provide first-hand information or raw data. As you conduct research, you will take detailed, careful notes about your discoveries. You will also evaluate the reliability of each source you find. So let's suppose I found some data on the website of WHO. I would rather rely on that website rather than a private organization, and it's related to medical place. That is where reliability issues come. So you have to get the data from a reliable place rather than any generic place. Organizing research and the writer's ideas. Now here is the format or the template comes, that how you start the research, what you would do in the very first opening paragraph, or what you would write in the next um, examples or facts or information. Let's just read this one, you will understand. So when your research is complete, you will organize your findings and decide which sources to cite in your paper. Okay, so reliable sources again. You will also have an opportunity to evaluate the evidence you have collected and determine whether it supports your thesis or the focus of your paper. Let's suppose I have given a thesis called for a better work-life balance, people should have 6 hours day shift in corporate offices. That is my thesis. Now, to give information about it, I will give the benefits of working 6 hours rather than the 8 or 9 hours. I will also tell that why is this a better way? How can it helps in work-life balance? For example, now if I give this thesis, people are not going to agree, especially the corporates. They will always have debates about it. So it is important that your research has a debatable topic. If it's easy, if it's something that the people will accept easily, then it is more like you are doing research in vain. So don't let your efforts go in vain. Make sure that you are writing ideas that is relevant to your thesis or your main research topic. To summarize, you have to write something that is related. Don't write irrelevant or unrealistic things. So let's suppose when your research is complete, you will organize your findings and decide which sources to cite in your paper. You will also have an opportunity to evaluate the evidence you have collected and determine whether it supports your thesis or focus of the paper. You may decide to adjust your thesis or conduct additional research to ensure that your thesis is well supported. So if you have not given the given enough ideas, given enough facts, or how should I say this word? Reasoning, I would say. If you have not given the proper reasoning, it is not going to be a good research. And draft your paper. Now, because you are ready with the research, you have written everything. Make sure that you take care of your grammar, the language you have used. If you have left any point, and everything that you have written, it is relatable to your thesis again. That you have to see. When you cite your reference sources, it is important to pay close attention to standard conventions for citing sources in order to avoid plagiarism. Because again, you have taken somebody else's theory, let's suppose, but might be this person doesn't want you to take the sentences they have written because they feel it's a plagiarism. So try to avoid plagiarism. And if let's suppose you are taking somebody has a copyright on the content, for example, and you are still taking the content, maybe taking permission from that person would help you. So try to avoid plagiarism. It might happen sometimes whatever you write, it is already existing on internet or somewhere. That also can count as plagiarism. So always find out or use some AI tools to understand whether it is a plagiarized content or not. Revising and editing your paper. I guess this one is quite clear if we read it, because it is just the connection between the whole thing, and grammatically and consistent tone should be there. So in the final step of a research writing process, you will revise and polish your paper. You might reorganize your paper structure and revise for unity and cohesion, ensuring that each element in your paper flows into the next logically and naturally. So again, the development, the structure, the coherence, everything should match. You will also make sure that your paper uses an appropriate and consistent tone. When we are writing a paper, again, research paper has point of view, but it is not in an informal way. You cannot target anyone. You have to use a very formal kind of tone, which is informative as well as opinion based.